Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Artist Chief. I think I got my swagger back enough to do another episode. I brought my good buddy Lance from Lance the Spoken podcast. What's going on, Lance?
I'm happy to be here, man. It's a great week. It's a great time to be alive, and it's a great time to be a Chiefs fan. More importantly, I'm sure that's a large portion of why we're here talking. But more importantly, man, it's just good to see you doing good, and you're happy, and you're strong, and you're doing well. I'm glad to be here with you tonight, bro.
Thank you. Are you feeling festive?
You better believe it, man. I've been trying to, underneath this clothes right here, I actually have my Santa outfit on. You know what I mean? I'm about to go and hand out some
believe it. There you go. You're like Santa before he got old. You know, you got the beard and everything. You're jolly. You're not that fat, okay? But you're
well, I'm getting there.
Touche. I mean, anyways. Okay. So I put out a mailbag on Twitter and got a few questions offline as well. So they're Christmas related. It's kind of a holiday special. First off, this is from Ron Waldemer. He asks, can Robinson and Hardman fill the void at receiver if they have to? And I don't want to get into like who's playing and who's not because we got some more stuff to talk about there. Let's just say a hypothetical: Kelsey and Hill are out. Can they fill that void?
I mean, you're talking about filling the void of not one but two all-pro receiving options. So naturally, the answer is no. It's not just because you're replacing two of the best receiving options in the NFL, but as we all know, Demarcus Robinson and Mecole Hardman in their own ways have proven that they're just not reliable commodities in this offense, even as backup players that don't have the pressure and expectation to produce at a high level. So I'm going to say no. But on the optimistic side, if that is in fact what happens, and I don't believe it's going to happen, I think the Chiefs are going to have either or Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill in this game. I think that there's going to be some protocol, some relief for the Chiefs. I think it looks really bad right now, and I have more to say on that, but I'm sure we'll talk more about that. But I don't think the Chiefs are going to have to worry about that. I just think that if they had to go that route, it's going to have to be Patrick Mahomes making these guys greater or look greater than what they were, kind of like an Albert Wilson game in Patrick Mahomes' first start. That's what I would be looking at in that game.
Yeah, you just stole the words from out of my mouth. I mean, it's going to have to be like that first start from Mahomes where he made Albert Wilson $35 million or whatever it was for the Dolphins. So, yeah, I'm in total agreement. Hardman and Robinson just haven't lived up to expectations. And I know, like you've said this before about Hardman, how the expectations were that he was to replace Tyreek Hill, who is, irreplaceable. He's not the same player. They're different skill sets, different sizes, but somebody's got to step up if that were the case. And so hopefully they do perform well. But gun to my head, I'm not going to say that they will. I don't know. Okay. Santa Claus is a Chiefs fan. This question comes from me. Santa Claus is a Chiefs fan. Which national media pundits are on the good or naughty list? And I'm going to go first because I'm going to steal the best answers. On the naughty list, the very naughty Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark has been trying to make a name for himself lately. I know he's a former Steeler, and I'm guessing a lot of that has to do with his takes. Him saying Patrick Mahomes is just broken earlier in the season and that he's done is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Now, don't get me wrong. Early on in the season, I had my doubts about how Mahomes would perform moving forward this season as far as like putting up numbers. And I didn't know what was going on with him, but I had belief that he would perform better in this. He certainly was not done for good. Like, are you kidding me? I mean, the guy's just too excellent for that. That's just total, utter nonsense. And he's just trying to throw hot takes out there left and right about the Chiefs lately. And it's just dumb. Like, whatever, man. He's just trying to be the next Skip Bayless or Colin Cowherd to, improve his career. And the guy who's getting the best Christmas present ever is Nick Wright. Nick Wright, you know Nick Wright. You love Nick Wright. We all do. He's the best. He always keeps the faith. He keeps it real. He keeps it honest. I mean, he's a Chiefs homer, but he puts out the good word out there and brings a lot of positive energy to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, I actually want to give out the good ones, the nice guys first. There's actually I know the national media has a lot of guys that we can name off that get on the naughty list because it is easier just to go at the Chiefs when they're struggling because that makes better news. To be negative, as we all know, that's what makes news is negativity, not positivity. So I know that we have a lot of naysayers that we can list off here, but there are a couple other ones out there, not just Nick. And Nick's a great guy. He's a friend of mine. I love the guy. He's a great dude. But one of the people that I think that doesn't get enough recognition, there's actually two of them that don't get enough recognition for being guys that see it as it is Marcus Spears from NFL Live. He gives a lot of credit to the Chiefs. He contextualizes a lot of things about the Chiefs. He doesn't just sit here and make blanket statements, generalized statements, or hot takes. He has legitimate breakdowns as to what he sees from the Chiefs, good or bad, but he also gives the Chiefs a lot more credit than what they're worth, or than what sometimes they're even worth, and he's been one of the people that have stood by them for the majority of this season while still being critical on them. Another guy that doesn't get enough credit when it comes to the Chiefs and what he talks about, I actually think he's a Chiefs fan, if I'm not mistaken, is Trey Wingo. Trey Wingo talks a lot about the Chiefs on his Twitter account, his personal Twitter account, and he stands up for him a lot. Now, he was an Alex Smith guy, and I very much wasn't, so I try to overlook that a lot of times. But when he talks about Patrick Mahomes and he contextualizes this team now, he's very much on the money, and I really do appreciate some of the things he says. Now, my naughty list, I can go on for about a half hour, if not more, because I like receipts and I hold on to them. And if anybody follows me on Twitter, I'm not afraid to call anybody out at any given time when it's deserving, because my biggest issue in social media and in national media is dishonesty. It's okay to criticize the Chiefs, just at least make sense with your criticism. And my problem with a lot of guys out there is the fact that that's what they do, is they're dishonest. And Colin Cowherd is a guy I've respected for the majority of my life because I've been listening to him since I was a teenager, and when I wanted to get into broadcasting and when I wanted to get into podcasting, things of that nature, him and Nick Wright were the guys that I looked to 10, 15 years ago even. And it's because Colin has a great delivery, great style, but his problem is now is he's utilizing the Chiefs in a way that he knows he's going to get clicks. He's been very dishonest about the Chiefs. He said a lot of things that are just very far-fetched, very, very dishonest, and I'm not a fan of it. I've called him out many times about it. I've even had some people that work with him that have told me, hey, man, you need to take it easy on Colin. That's when I know things are being heard, and I know he's doing shit intentionally, and it's bad taste to me. Ryan, I know, is definitely doing it. Ryan Clark's definitely doing it to get clicks and get takes. Colin's got the biggest platform in all of sports media outside of Stephen A. Smith. And Stephen A. Smith himself just got done saying the Chiefs were done about 4 weeks ago when the Chiefs were already in their winning streak. So that should tell you something about how out of touch a lot of these guys are. But if I had to get my naughty list and my lump of coal to somebody, it's going to Colin Cowherd.
Yeah, I used to respect and admire Colin. I used to listen to him for forever too. I remember listening to him in the early 2000s, and yeah, he's just gone off the deep end, just trying to get clicks. I want to give a naughty and a nice out, like a shout out to Eric Mangina. That's my name for him. I mean, man, his takes have been so awful about the Chiefs for so long. But the other day I heard him talking positively about Kansas City before the game, and I was just blown away. I couldn't believe it. In fact, I thought he was trying to jinx us, so I'm really just on the fence. Like, I don't know if this guy is against us or what. I don't know. I just feel like he's kind of full of it half the time. But it was nice to hear something positive come out of his mouth. So.
Yeah, he was the same guy, Corey, that was trying to tell us when Patrick Mahomes was having a historic season in 2018 that we needed to slow down on him and not be so hyped up. Well, 4 years later, the guy's taken us to 2 Super Bowls and soon to be 5 AFC championships. So I don't think there needs to be any slowing down when it comes to Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, he's just a Brady homer. He doesn't want anybody taking Brady's crown. I mean, that's just what it is, you know.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick guy. All right. This one comes from Brenda Jones, my mother. What players are likely out this Sunday? I can say that a friend of mine was listening to Mitch Holthus earlier today. That's my source. He said that Harrison Butker is more than likely out. That's the only one I'm aware of.
Yeah, Butker is 100% out because Butker is an unvaccinated player. And whenever an unvaccinated player, according to NFL policy, whenever an unvaccinated player is confirmed to have COVID, he's tested positive for COVID, he has to be out for at least 10 days. Most of the time, that means 2 games. So Butker is out for sure this week and will be probably – I don't think he's allowed to be a part of any practices or routines tangibly until next Friday. So Butker is 100% out. The speculation is endless right now as far as who else is out. What we do know is that Josh Gordon, Willie Gay, and L'Jarius Sneed are all back. Now, Josh Gordon and Willie Gay came back off COVID protocol. L'Jarius Sneed is coming back from his own personal issues that we have all been hearing about over the last couple weeks. Chris Jones is still up in the air. I was listening to Bink and Jay Binkley and Pete Sweeney from Arrowhead Pride on the way in tonight, and they both said that there is a chance that we could be seeing maybe Chris Jones get lifted off that maybe by tomorrow. There is speculation that maybe he will be getting off there soon. You got to remember, he was one of the first players to get on the COVID list before the Chargers game. I think it was Josh Gordon first, and then I think it was Chris Jones afterward, a day later, if I'm not mistaken. So he's been on that list for about a week and a day or two. So I'm expecting Chris Jones to be back. I think there's going to be some guys that missed this game that it's going to suck. I don't want to speculate here because I could be very much wrong, and I probably would be if I did. But I am going to say that there's probably going to be at least one player that the Chiefs could really use in a game that they do need to win to maintain that one seed. That is not going to be in this game. But I also think on the flip side, there's going to be guys that are going to get back that are going to make us feel really good about the Chiefs continuing this winning streak and moving it from 7 to 8. So we'll stay tuned. I think within the next 24 to 48 hours, we're going to know for sure who's going to be playing this Sunday at the 3:30 mark.
Right on. Good analysis. Now this one is a little bit tricky. It's from Zach at the Layman's Terms. The Grudench. The Grinch, John Gruden, the Grudench. The Grudench has tried to steal Christmas, and the only one who can stop him is Derek Carr. How does he help the Grudench's heart grow three sizes? Now, if I'm not mistaken, the live-action movie with Jim Carrey, which I don't exactly love, I've got kids, so I was forced to watch it. I believe that he started becoming a Grinch because a girl, kind of just wasn't feeling the same way about him, kind of got some ill feelings there. He was kind of getting made fun of by other kids in school, that sort of thing. So, honestly, for John Gruden's heart to grow 3 sizes bigger, a lot of things need to happen, counseling about dealing with women and racism and just all kinds of political stuff. I'm just going to go with his team would need to win a Super Bowl because he had this thing that he loved, this Super Bowl trophy, and it went far, far away. And that's what turned him into the Grinch. So Derek Carr, hypothetically speaking, if he was still coaching, Derek Carr and the Raiders, they'd have to win a Super Bowl, and then his heart would grow 3 times bigger.
So it's John Gruden that's the Grinch.
The Grudench.
Well, I think when it comes to John Gruden getting his heart back, I think what he needs to do is learn to or get his heart to grow a little bit is maybe to let it slow down a little bit because that guy's blood pressure has got to be astronomical. I mean, you see the times he's been on the sidelines. I really did this, and I'm not saying this lightly. There were a few times I thought the dude was going to stroke out because he's not a young buck anymore. And I think that just the idea or the scenario of Derek Carr and the Raiders helping him get to another Super Bowl and winning if he was still coaching, I think just the fantasy of that alone would help that man's heart grow a little bit because then you're talking about him being re-employed with the team he just got fired from or let go of, quote unquote, and them being good enough to even get the playoffs, let alone win a Super Bowl. So I think just him sitting there like the Wolverine meme when he has the picture in his bed and he's looking at it, just him fantasizing like that, well, I think would help grow his heart. But he's got to have a heart first in order for it to grow. So I'll leave it there.
Yeah, touche. Yeah, he's a piece of work. That's keeping it lightly, or saying it lightly. Okay, this came from Mark Hinkle. What present or former Chiefs opponent or sportscaster deserves the most coal in their stocking? So I'm going to recap this because it's a lot to take in. Present or former Chiefs opponent or sportscaster deserves the most coal in their stocking. Chiefs opponent. You want to take this one on?
Sure. I got no problem with that. I don't know if they ever played each other. I don't know if he ever played against the Chiefs, but his brother actually is Derek Carr, and David Carr takes every opportunity in the world to try to make something into nothing or make nothing into something and has really made himself look foolish on national television. So I don't even know if he really deserves a lump of coal, because I feel like his bad takes are bad in itself and punishment in itself. But I think that that's the low-hanging fruit here if we really had to choose somebody, because he is attached to the quote-unquote rivalry, if you even want to quantify it as that, when it really isn't much of a rivalry to begin with. The Chiefs have absolutely dominated the Raiders for the last 10-plus years. So I would say that, yeah, David Carr, whenever I have the idea of being able to give a lump of coal to a Carr brother, I'm going to take it.
Yeah, I think you got the right answer there. I mean, the guy searches his own name more than Tyrann Mathieu. He's got us all blocked. I mean, I said his takes were like he had a take about the Raiders beating us and going on to the playoffs or something like a year ago, and I just said, man, David Carr must be on drugs or something for saying that, and I didn't even at him. Like, he just literally just searched his own name, saw that people were disagreeing with him, and he started blocking everybody. So good for him. But yeah, I think that's the correct answer. Now, he didn't ask it, but if it was a former Chiefs player, I would probably go with Orlando Scandrick or Orlando Trash Candrick, as I like to call him.
My choice is easy. It's D Ford. You talk about the position, the draft value that the Chiefs gave up. They took him in the first round in the 2014 draft. He never, ever became what we were looking for him to be. The only time he ever capitalized and put up numbers when he was going up against backup tackles. He had injury issues, and to top it all off, he literally cost the Chiefs a chance of getting to the Super Bowl in Patrick Mahomes' first season as a starter. So, for just the way he is, I mean, I know that justice was served a year later when the Chiefs beat him in the Super Bowl when he was with the Niners. It still sits very unsettling with me. I was at that game. I don't know if you were or not, Corey. I was at that game freezing my absolute ass off. It was like negative 59 degrees out there. And the Chiefs had it. Charvarius Ward picked Tom Brady off. That should have been the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl for getting revenge against the Rams. And thanks to D Ford's ass lining like a fucking yard off sides, we get this going on. So yeah, it's him, and it's not even close.
Yeah, by the way, Julian Edelman touched that ball, and I will die on that hill.
And Chris Hogan didn't catch that ball either.
No. Also, that Chris Jones penalty, roughing the passer when he literally had his hand like this on Tom Brady. Come on, man.
Oh, he literally hit him in the shoulder. I'm trying to leave that game in the past, but man, it just keeps coming back to. I'm like,
My fault. My bad. Okay, this one was from Kyle Henning, and you can answer this as well, but it was kind of directed at me. If you had to pick one piece from any artist in Chiefs Kingdom to get for Christmas, which one would it be? Now, that's a loaded question because that makes me have to remember every single piece of artwork from a lot of my peers and who I admire and respect. I'm just going to go with Aaron Norris. I don't own anything by Aaron Norris. I own art by several of my peers. He's just not one I have got around to purchasing yet. And I don't remember the title of it, but it's Mahomes standing in the middle of a field, waving a Chiefs flag after decimating every quarterback in the league. Literally, they're all just lying on the ground, and it's just badass. There's even lightning, and it's pretty cool.
Hell yeah. The only thing I would say is the artist's work, the pieces you've given me, man. I have a Juan Thornhill sitting up on my wall right now, about 10 feet from me, that you were gracious enough to hand me, man. So anything that you've made, I've been a humongous fan of. So I would say that anything that the artist chief has made, I'd go with.
Well, way to suck up to me, man.
Got to do it, man. No, but you know you got what it takes, man. You make incredible stuff.
I'm all right. Since we're on the subject, though, I wanted to give a shout out to Anthony Oropeza.
Yes,
Anthony Oropeza is the last and final artist of the Chiefs Kingdom poster series, for home games. So he did the official poster for the Steelers and Chiefs game coming up. It's this amazing painting of Christian Okoye. It's really badass. Make sure and go to Chiefs.com to the pro shop and purchase it there, or you can get it on game day at the pro shop, and you could get it before then. Actually, it's there now, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, AO's a great guy. I know him personally. I've done an art show with him, and he deserves all the credit in the world. That's really awesome. I'm really proud of you if you're listening. Okay. This is from Blake Bay, the new Hillsborough, Kansas city councilman, I believe, starting in January. Favorite Chiefs Christmas game of all time. So I'm guessing whatever Chiefs game was close to Christmas is what he's talking about, like a regular
Okay.
season game. Um, I don't have the best memory in the world, but the one that comes to mind is the one with the bloated Tebow pass by Don Terry Poe against the Denver Donkeys. It was like, it might have been Christmas Day, or I'm not even sure. Maybe the day after. I don't know. It was a Sunday night game. Chiefs won pretty handily. I don't remember the exact score, but it was like 30 something to 10 or whatever.
Yeah, that was a
So that's
great.
my
I
easy
think I
answer
think
there.
that was I think that was like 2 days before Christmas, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but I think the one that I have to go with is it's recent. It was back in 2018 when D-Rob caught Patrick Mahomes' 50th touchdown against the Raiders, and the Chiefs absolutely just blew the brakes off. I think it was like 35-3, if I'm not mistaken. The Chiefs just annihilated them in that game and moved on into the playoffs. So yeah, that to me was by far just based on the fact of what it meant and them doing against the Raiders, just embarrassing them like that. A beautiful, crisp night in Kansas City. That's definitely my vote.
Yeah, I was at that game. That was so much fun. You're right on the spot there. I forgot about that one. Yeah, that was great. Um, so the mailbag has been knocked out, like the Colts and the rest of the AFC West, or the Colts, the AFC West, whatever. Um, so Lance, if you could preview this coming game, Pittsburgh versus Kansas City, let's hear what you got because you're better at this than I am. Let's hear what do you have going.
Well, I mean, this matchup in almost every regard favors the Chiefs outside of one particular player, and that's T.J. Watt, who might be the
TJ Watt.
best. Yeah, he might be the best defensive player in the league, and that's not saying that's not. I'm not taking that lightly because there's some damn good defensive players in this league. So that's a lot of respect to him. But even with TJ, he's got a little bit of a rib issue, so that's something to be watching out for. This game, coming into this week, man, I don't think there was a game this year that I felt more confident the Chiefs are going to win than this one. Not just because of how well the Chiefs have been playing as a collective and playing complementary football, but because of the fact that the Steelers have no business being a 7-6-1 team or whatever their record is. They're not good. They can't move the ball offensively. Ben Roethlisberger's been terrible this season. They cannot run the ball. They're, again, probably the worst running offense in the entire NFL outside of maybe the Buccaneers. And their defense, you assume, is always good, but their pass defense has been terrible. I mean, really, really bad. And I just felt that the Chiefs are going to be able to come in here and annihilate them, make quick work, and then worry about a potential trap game against the Bengals before the big divisional game in Week 18 against the Broncos in Denver. But now that we know that COVID is still very much a part of our lives, unfortunately, we've seen the numbers go up for the Chiefs. I believe as it currently stands, there are 11 players, if not 12, with Mike Rimmers just recently being added to the list. But I think he's still on the IR, if I'm not mistaken. But there are 11 active players that are on the list. How many will be on there by the time the Chiefs play them on Sunday? And it does look like they were initially. I thought they were going to move the game once I heard all these names getting dropped. I thought for sure the
So
Chiefs
did
were
I.
Monday or Tuesday. It doesn't look like that now. It looks like it's still going to be on the 3:30 slot in Sunday, which is I know a lot of people are looking forward to. But I even with let me put it like this, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm just trying to blanket this game and just overlook what the Steelers could potentially do. But I'm gonna be honest with you, Corey. Even if the Chiefs were to lose Travis Kelce and or Tyreek Hill for this week, it might make things tougher. But the Chiefs are still significantly better than the Steelers. Especially when you consider the fact they're getting Willie Gay back, they're getting L'Jarius Sneed back. Josh Gordon looked like he showed some promise. I'm not putting too much expectation on him yet. I still think he's got a long way to go. But I think Patrick Mahomes, and I think that run game can get enough from the pass game, from the running games, rather. I'm saying that Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Darrell Williams. I think Patrick Mahomes can utilize those guys enough. And I think you can get one game out of some of these backup weapons, enough to beat an offense, like I said, that is so inept like the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, really, as it comes down to it, the Chiefs really just need to get to 17, 20 points, and they can win that game pretty comfortably because I just don't think Pittsburgh can come in here and disrespect the Chiefs offense and push them around and score enough points to outmatch and outmark Patrick Mahomes in his house when the Chiefs know that if they lose this game, they may as well get planned on winning it or playing in wild card weekend. So I think that that's the way the Chiefs have to look at this game. I think there's a lot of pluses even with the COVID scares, because think about it like this. Even though the fact that we all would agree that it's much better to have all of your healthy weapons at your access, and it's better to have all your defenders. But think about it like this. Sometimes in winning streaks and sometimes with teams like the Chiefs that have had so much success over the last 3 or 4 years, you can sometimes get a little complacent, and you can start resting on your laurels, and you can start assuming victories. I think we've seen this team do that quite often, especially on the offensive side, even on the defensive side, where they expect Patrick Mahomes to save them each and every week. And then the defense started taking care of business, and then the offense was relying on them. And then what do you know? The offense and the defense started playing together comfortably, and they were being complementary to each other, and they look like the most complete team in football. But now that you may have to rely on some of your backups, I think this is going to show the Chiefs just how much depth they really have, and some of these young, unproven players, and even guys like Josh Gordon, a journeyman veteran that's had addiction problems and things of that nature, man, he could add to his story if the Chiefs utilize him like a wide receiver one this week. I don't think that's going to happen. Again, I think that either Tyreek and or Travis will play this week, and I think the Chiefs are going to win this game, but I'm looking at this game as more of what do you have deep into your roster, Chiefs, because Lucas Niang's still on the list. Who's going to play right tackle? There's questions all across the board for this team, but I'm still confident because, like I said, when we've counted this team out early in the year, when they started off 3-4 and they were having offensive woes, their defense looked historically bad, they went on a 7-game winning streak when everyone counted them out. So I'm going to be the last guy to count them out at this point, because this team is as resilient as they come, and I think this is the most dangerous Chiefs team that we have ever seen. And I mean that. So with all that considered, I think that we're going to be looking at this game at around 7, 8 o'clock at night and saying that was a damn good victory despite the inefficiencies and the deficiencies that the Chiefs had, and they maintained that 1 seed, because I think the Titans are going to lose to the 49ers, and I think that the Bills have a really good chance of beating New England in New England. If that happens and the Chiefs beat the Steelers, the Chiefs are resting starters in Week 18 against the Broncos, and I think there's a really good chance that happens because I think the Chiefs take care of business on Sunday against the Steelers.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway, and people need to remember this, is that we were missing a few key defensive players recently, and they're coming back. Like, our defense is legit, That's my biggest takeaway. But excellent analysis by you, sir. That's why I have you on here. I'm just a dumb homer. I just like talking about crap, and I don't know what I'm talking about, but that's why I bring you on here. For the listeners, the viewing audience, you're the best.
I appreciate. Hey, man, this is always fun for me, man. I love the mailbag stuff because I have no idea what's coming our way, so I have to really be on my toes. Even though I'm sitting down, I'm literally on my toes right now.
Yeah, to the audience listening at home or viewing, I don't preview any of this with Lance. We might talk about certain things we're going to talk about after or before the mailbag, but he's going in cold. I've at least seen this stuff. I kind of feel bad, but
no,
hey,
it's great.
At least this time it wasn't the Artist Chief After Dark, you know what I mean? That's a clean questions. PG stuff.
Honestly, hey, that's how we do a lot of our stuff here at the Spoken Podcast, man. I tell Trevor and Eddie, what we're going to do, who we got booked as a guest, all these other things. But a lot of the show is it's the first time we ask the question or we bring something up, it's honest responses, because like I told you, man, I love authenticity and I love real honest content provided to people. And this is what I believe this is right here, man. The Artist Chief, we're giving people honest, genuine reaction. That's what I think people want, man. They don't want bullshit. They want real things. And I think that's what this is.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. So you just mentioned it, the Spoken Podcast. That's where you can find Lance every Saturday. Is that right?
Yes, sir. We live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Right on. And that's what's the handle for your show, or where exactly can we?
Yeah, we have our weekly shows. You can find us on all podcast platforms and on YouTube at the Spoken Podcast. Our Twitter handle is at the Spoken Pod. You see my Twitter handle at the bottom of the screen right here. We're also on Facebook, where it all started back in December of 2010. We're a Facebook group. We got thousands of people in there from all over the world. It's mostly Chiefs content, especially during the season. But man, we talk all sports there. You're welcome to bring whatever you want, because we love having all different types and kinds of sports fans, man. That's what it's all about, the Spoken, for you to have a platform to be able to speak your mind and speak your fanhood and tell us what you feel and be a part of the community, man. So that's what we're all about, man. We keep it simple and we have a blast each and every day.
Yeah, guys, make sure and get on there on Facebook and be a part of their page. You can ask them direct questions; they'll shout you out. Make sure and like and sub on all platforms: YouTube, Twitter, you name it. Lance, I really appreciate you coming on here. It's been a blast. If I don't talk to you, have a Merry Christmas. You deserve the best, and happy holidays.
Love you, Corey. You're the best, man. I'm so glad you're my friend, and I'm glad to be on here. Whenever you need me, as I always tell you, man, I'll make the time for it because you're worth it, brother.
Anytime. And as always, let's go Chiefs.